Hi everyone, this is Sam with Wine News in 5. Before I dive in, I'd like to congratulate Jancis for taking number 2 in Drinks Retailing's list of the 100 most influential people in the UK drinks trade for the second year running. Miles Beale, CEO of the Wine and Spirit Trade Association, took number 1. Jancis has said she's quite happy to have Miles top the list. In her words, he has to lobby government and hardly ever gets to taste wine. Congrats to Miles, Jancis, and everyone who made the list. In terms of global news, today I'll discuss weather hazards around the world, the latest statistics from the International Organization of Vine and Wine, the OIV, changes to the Chianti DOCG, and a few scholarship opportunities and events. First up, weather hazards around the world. The past 2 weeks have been brutal in terms of weather for France, Greece, South Africa, and the US. Bordeaux lost 30% of their nascent crop across more than 1,500 hectares, 3,700 acres, when hail struck the region on May 2nd and 3rd. The Libournais, aka the right bank of Bordeaux, and the Entre-deux-Mers were the hardest hit. While the hailstorm spared the most prestigious right bank appellations of Saint-Emilion and Pomerol, the surrounding communes of Rouzon, Saint-Genès-des-Castillons, and Taillac were not so lucky. Also on May 2nd and 3rd, Jurançon in southwest France and Quincy and Rueil in the Centre-Loire experienced hail. In Jurançon, the small stretch between Gand and Jurançon reported 50 to 70% losses. In Quincy and Rueil, losses are reported to be around 15 to 20%. On May 10th, Gers, northeast of Jurançon, was hit by hail. Lionel Candelon, president of the Gers Chamber of Agriculture, told Vitisphere there's nothing left in the fairly narrow 50-kilometer corridor from Lupiac to Gigon, then much wider as far as Biron. Growers in this area report 100% losses. On May 11th and 12th, Champagne saw mild frost damage when temperatures dropped to negative 1.5 degrees Celsius, 29.3 degrees Fahrenheit. It remains to be seen if there's any lasting impact from this. The frost at the end of March was much more severe. Meanwhile, in Greece, temperatures dropped below 0 degrees Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit on May 4th, devastating vineyards in Nemea and Mantinia in the Peloponnese. Konstantinos Mitravelas, winemaker for Mitravelas Estate, told Yannis Karakakis, MW of Greek Wine Explained, that around 800 and 900 hectares, roughly 2,000 to 2,200 acres, have been damaged in Nemea. President of the Nemea Winemakers Association, Nikos Vlachos, was quoted saying, "In many places, the damage is 100%. In others, 50%. It's clear that this is a major loss, but its full extent across the zone will be clearer next week." Mantinia suffered even worse damage than Nemea, with Aris Tselepos of Tselepos Wines quoted saying, "Mantinia has been hit everywhere. No area has been left untouched. The first images are discouraging, but a realistic assessment can only be made in 3 weeks." South Africa, whose trade body Wines of South Africa published their end-of-harvest report on May 13th, saw severe storms hit the Western Cape on May 9th. The Robertson region was particularly affected, with many producers reporting severe flooding on May 11th. While the 2026 harvest is safely in tank, the region lost valuable infrastructure. Wineries flooded, new vineyard plantings washed away, and in at least one case, existing stocks of wines were submerged. If you'd like to help, producers in Robertson are asking the public to buy Robertson wines. Finally, while not as dramatic as the events in France, Greece, and South Africa, the US's Washington state has declared a statewide drought that will likely require winemakers to reduce irrigation going into the growing season. Next, the latest statistics from the International Organization of Vine and Wine, the OIV. On May 12th, the OIV released its overview of the state of the world wine sector in 2025. Total global vineyard area contracted by 0.8% to 7 million hectares, 17 million acres, due to uprooting in both hemispheres. France, Spain, Turkey, Chile, Argentina, and the US account for the largest decreases. India and Brazil are the only countries to have notably expanded their vineyard area. Total wine production increased by 0.6% to an estimated 227 million hectoliters. This is still a decrease of 9.4% on the 5-year average. Severe weather is the top contributor to sliding production, followed by decreased vineyard area. Total wine consumption decreased by 2.7%. China, France, and the US account for the largest share of this decrease. Portugal, Brazil, Japan, Romania, Austria, and the Czech Republic saw increased wine consumption. Total wine exports decreased by 4.7% in volume and 6.7% in value, with declines in every major wine market except for Portugal and New Zealand. This is largely due to tariff-related uncertainty surrounding the US market. The average price of wine exported declined by 2.1%. Nonetheless, the OIV reports that nearly 1 bottle in 2 is consumed outside its country of origin. On to proposed changes to Chianti DOCG. I missed this piece of news last November. Chianti DOCG is updating regulations. Among the proposed updates is a new rosé category, because previously rosé from Chianti was labeled as Toscana IGT, which requires 50% Sangiovese. Also in the pipeline is a reduction in the required percentage of Sangiovese in red Chianti DOCG from 70 to 60%. A new sub-area called Terre de Vinci in the commune of Florence, a new minimum planting density of 4,100 vines per hectare, and a reduction on the required acidity levels. These changes still need to be approved by the Ministry of Agriculture. This is just one of several changes to Italian wine law. You can see way more of them on Italian Wine Central. Finally, scholarship opportunities and upcoming events. On May 6th, applications for the Barca Velia Golden Vines MW scholarships opened. Applicants must already be enrolled in the MW program or meet all the enrollment requirements. The 2 candidates who are selected for this scholarship will receive £35,000 in funding. Details for this opportunity and all of the opportunities to follow will be linked in the transcript of this newscast. On April 27th, scholarships for the Becky Wasserman BIMPOC Wine Symposium opened. These scholarships will take 4 individuals to Burgundy for a week in late April of 2027. Applications close on June 22nd. The annual Rhone Rangers event, celebrating Rhone varieties grown in the United States, will be held on June 13th in McMinnville, Oregon. You can find a 10% discount code for the grand tasting in the forum on our website. Santa Barbara's newest wine conference, the Mindset Regeneration and Resilience Symposium, will be held at Cambria Winery and Vineyard from June 8th to 10th. The symposium will focus on farming for soil health, water retention and biodiversity, building ecosystem and economic resilience, and empowering wine growers to step forward as industry leaders in regenerative viticulture. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. This newscast will be taking a break for the summer while I focus my efforts on US wine coverage. As much as I love writing up and delivering the wine news, it's an enormous amount of work that is only sustained by membership support. If you'd like to see this newscast resume in the fall, it would be immensely helpful to me if you would do 2 things. The first is obviously to become a member of jancesrobinson.com. The second is to post in our members-only forum. And yes, I do need it to be in the members-only forum, not on social media or on podcast platforms, that you'd like the Wine News in 5 to continue. If we have enough members who would like to see this newscast continue, we'll keep it. Otherwise, it's very likely that I will need to spend my time elsewhere. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching for the last 2.5 years. I hope to be back in the fall.